Bill McGurn, our Main Street columnist.
Yes.
You've been looking at whether presidential candidates are likable or not. Now, we were just talking about poor Mitt Romney here. He's about 20 points behind with women.
Right.
And now we've got a Washington Post ABC poll that says he's lagging the president in likability by about 2 to 1.
Right, 40-something% in likability.
What's he supposed to do about this, or should he do anything about it?
Well, I'm not sure he should do. I think that there are mistakes on both sides. I think the Democrats look at this and think that the election's wrapped up, that Governor Romney will be this very rich, wealthy guy that they can personally attack and so forth, and that Barack Obama will win. I think on the Republican side, some of the people I meet, just so dislike President Obama. They cannot see that other people like him, and likability is not necessarily the same as I'll vote for you. That same Washington Post poll has a lot of danger signs for President Obama.
Well, you're opening this subject up in your column for us tomorrow, and one of the interesting points you make, you were just saying about people who have decided they don't like president, but you say they make the mistake of seeing these political figures through their own partisan lens.
Right.
And that isn't necessarily the way the rest of the country, which isn't so acutely political, is seeing us.
Exactly. And there are people, look, for Governor Romney to win, he presumably has to get people who voted for Barack Obama the last time
the independent
to
voters,
vote for him. And some Democrats who are disaffected. They're not likely to dislike President Obama, but they are very likely to say he's not up for the job. That same Washington Post poll said that Governor Romney would handle the economy better than Barack Obama. I mean, if I were President Obama, I'd be much more worried about the specifics because his strength seems to be in personal area and not in policy area.
And you also point out that in these polls, strong majority think the country is on the wrong track.
On the wrong track.
So President Obama's got likability going for him. He doesn't have a heck of a lot else going for him, at least not in terms of policy substance.
Right, and that's what I think is the sweet spot for Governor Romney, to campaign on the policies, that the job is too big for this man and that it's time for a change. Interesting, I went back to 1980, an exit poll by the New York Times, CBS, right after the election. 38% said they voted for Reagan, gave it as one of their top 2 reasons, it's time for a change. And only a third of those people were conservative. And only 11% listed he's a true conservative as the reason to vote for him. A lot of people thought Jimmy Carter was a good guy, too. They still think Jimmy Carter was a good guy. They don't think he was a good president.
Well, this likability issue is it's in some ways kind of a cruel reality. I mean, I think it's real, and if you get into public life, it's just something you have to deal with. But with Governor Romney, you've got to, I think, separate between the primaries in which you're running against 5, 6, or 7 people, and you've got these quick shots, and then and there was a very hard-fought primary. When he goes one-on-one, I think, with Barack Obama, his genuine personality, I think, should be able to.
I think his personality, and also the real differences. The Republicans were arguing shades of difference.
Yeah.
Whatever people think about Governor Romney, his actual policies were not that he was standing for were not that different from the other candidates. So it was very nasty, and it was all about who was real, who was a phony. I think when he goes up against President Obama, there's going to be a broad difference in philosophy that will be a lot easier for Governor Romney to explain.
Do you think that, to what the extent that Ann Romney, who's been herself attacked as well, people talk all the time about how much they like Ann Romney.
Right.
And, Ann Romney and Mitt Romney are obviously a very happy couple together.
Right.
It is kind of ironic in a way that her great likability hasn't rubbed off on him. There seems to be a disconnect there.
I think, you hit on it before. I think in the primaries, too, it's an intra-party squabble. The negatives tend to remain. People don't really remember positives in the primary. I think the negatives remain. I don't remember what Reagan was in the primaries, but I'm not sure his real positives started to shine through until after that.
Another aspect to this, Bill, we talk about people not paying that close attention. There are a lot of the public out there that just doesn't follow these things that closely. President Obama has given some extremely harsh speeches of late. He attacked Paul Ryan, has talked his budget, called it social Darwinism. And, I think there's something to the fact that the president does enjoy going on the attack. And once that campaign starts and the president is out of the Oval Office and out there on the campaign trail, It's going to be kind of interesting to me to see just how this likability quotient starts jumping
I
around.
think one of the reasons for that is when you can't defend yourself on your record or your policies, you tend to attack personally on the other side. I mean, Jimmy Carter certainly did that against Ronald Reagan, and his pollster said one of the reasons for Reagan's success is he did not respond in kind to that. He emphasized his own credibility as a governor and his ability to govern as a president, and he outmaneuvered Carter that way. I think also you saw it, when John McCain was running against Barack Obama. When you don't have as much policies to go after, at the end he started bringing up Bill Ayers and all this other stuff, and I'm not sure it works. When I worked for Bush during the war, that the hatred for George Bush was just incredible from the Democratic Party. But guess what? On his most important policy, even after he lost the House, he got his way.
Yeah.
Hatred can blind you to the weak spots and so forth.
And the fact of the matter is we're running at an anxious time. The economy isn't that strong. People are not in that big a good a mood. And I'm not sure that they're looking for out there is the most likable candidate.
Exactly. I think they want someone to fix it. Governor Romney has a good record of running the Olympics, running the state, running Bain Capital. I mean, he has a pretty good answer to that.